guys, it's Monkey the Six Pack here, actually getting to record the Fruit of Grisia review. Many things have tried to stop me, but none of them has conceded, obviously. It's just going to be a little bit late. I'm going to break this down into categories so that if you have not played the game yet, you can skip the spoiler categories and stick to the spoiler-free stuff. But I can give you a quick little TLDR. I loved this game, and personally I'd recommend that if you're into visual novels, I'd buy it right away. But if you're looking to get into them, I'd wait till it goes on sale for a little bit cheaper, because it's currently $39.99, which is a little bit much for a visual novel. But without further ado, let's jump right in. So the art is quite good. It's not the best art I've seen in a visual novel, but I've definitely seen visual novels with a lot worse art than this one. The characters the characters are pretty diverse with their sprites and their reactions. The animation is pretty good. It's not the best. I've seen visual novels with a lot better animation to it, but I don't look for animation in visual novels. Actual animation, I believe there's only one cutscene in the entire game, unless you count the credits, and that would be the opening. And I believe it doesn't even have anything to do with the visual novel. It's just kind of there for a flashy opening, but no big deal. The theme is sketchy to play during it. The characters themselves, they're pretty diverse in their differences, not just the same character pasted over the different color scheme. And the music is pretty memorable. I remember it. I hear it and I think, oh, it's from Fruit of Grisia, which you don't typically do with many other visual novels. And let's jump right into the characters here. I'm going to do a quick little spoiler-free review of each of the roots here real quick. We have Yumiko, the brooding, dark character. She likes to keep herself caged up in a room. Dark, shades drawn, spend time on the internet looking up conspiracy theories and shit. Her root's a little tough to begin with. It's kind of tough to stick with it, but if you do, it's definitely rewarding in the end. There's Amane, whose root spends a lot of time in a flashback. Every root has a bit of a flashback to it. They spend, it's how most of their exposition is done through flashbacks. But I don't know if it's true, but I think Amane's has one of the longer flashbacks, because most of her root felt like it was in the flashback. And I wasn't a particularly huge fan of that. I actually thought one of her roots was going to be one of my favorites, but I think hers is probably my least favorite of them all. There's Machiru, who's the fake tsundere. She is quite an idiot, and the root kind of explains why, goes into detail to it. It was one of my favorite. It wasn't my absolute favorite, but it was one of my favorites. It's one of the more normal ones, and by no means is it normal, but in comparison to all the other ones, it is the most normal one of them all. There's Makina, whose root is actually pretty interesting, I gotta say. I didn't have high hopes for it. In fact, I assumed it was going to be my least favorite. But it definitely goes in an unexpected direction. And I don't want to get too much into spoilers for it, so you might want to go ahead and wait until I talk about that one. There's Sachi, the maid who won't say no. Any request is not too extreme for her. She'll go to any extreme to grant your requests. I actually assumed this was going to be one of my least favorites, just because I did not like the character in the beginning, but I believe that she has the most character development out of any of the other characters in her root, and it's definitely worth a read. If you're not going to read all of them, I definitely recommend you at least read Sachi's. There's the principal, Chizuru, who is essentially there for comedic relief. She never really does anything too important to the novel. And there's JB, the boss. So now, before I go into the spoilers about the roots, I want to talk about the various spin-offs. Currently, there's only 3 released in America at the moment. There is a couple more to come, which I'll do reviews on when they come. There is the magical idol girl, Chiru. Yes, Chiru. I have yet to read them yet because they contain I do not like spoilers at all, and they contain spoilers towards the Labyrinth of Grisia and Eden of Grisia, the next 2 visual novels coming out in the series, so I skip that until I can read it when I not have things spoiled for me. I read the first portion of it. They keep true. Imagine this novel, it's the comedy of this novel into just a comedy novel. They removed the action stuff from it and just threw in as a comedy spin-off, essentially, with a different kind of twist to it. I do not believe that the main character Yuji's in it. I think he's in it for a short paragraph, essentially, because it takes place in a different universe. And there's the current one, which is The Leisure of Grisia, which was just released this month, actually. It takes place somewhere in the common route, so Yuji's at the school, but he's not in it, and focuses on Michiru trying to break her boredom. So it's good for a laugh. It took me about 15 minutes to read, tops. And then there is the Eden and Labyrinth of Grisia, which are coming out sometime soon, hopefully. They said it's supposed to come out in the winter of 2016, or winter 2015, in February, but that never actually happened, and I think they made like an announcement saying that the team who released that news did not have the proper rights to release that news or some kind of shit like that. I don't tend to get into the politics of these. Now the anime and manga. I believe the manga a lot of people didn't like because it felt rushed, but I liked it because I was able to relive the stories in a day or two it took me to read the manga. It kind of quickly wraps them all up into one manga series. It's entertaining. It's essentially they follow a story with some slight changes, I believe. And now onto the anime. The anime actually has the biggest changes between the anime and manga. The anime, I won't spoil anything, but puts all the roots into episodes. I think most roots are about 2 episodes. One is 3 episodes and one is 4 episodes. It's led on to believe that the anime, all the events are taking place in the course of the same universe, whereas in this one, where each route is set in place into a different timeline within this, I guess you can say. Because, obviously in the end of each one you're not dating all the girls, but in the novel, in the anime, he never actually does any of the dating stuff, and it's hinted at that it's all taking place after another. So it's definitely interesting. They change things a lot, like Yumiko's route's entirely different in there, but for the most part things stay the same. Alright, so now that I've covered everything, I'm going to go into the spoiler section. If you do not wish to have spoilers, I'd recommend you skip this section if you haven't read it. If you haven't read it and you're looking for a quick little TLDR here, I'd say what I said in the start. I love this novel. It's one of my favorites. It took me around 70 to 80 hours to complete. Steam isn't too accurate with the tracking, so I can't get an exact option on it, but that's about the closest I can get. So I'd recommend that you buy it. Or unless you want to wait till a sale, because Steam Summer Sale is right around the corner, so I would definitely pick this up relatively soon. And then, I'll see you later, spoiler-free guys, and on to the spoilers. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some spoilers here now. We have Yumiko's route, where essentially there's no bad ending. One ending essentially is them on the run from her father. Because I feel like she had some character development throughout this, but I felt it was just a complete 180 in the character. Like, hey, I'm a dark brooding girl, and oh, hey, I'm actually a girl, so I do have feelings and all that shit, which is not typically led into before the route. I believe it had a rough start, but once they got on the run, I quite liked it, with Yuji on the phone talking to JB, trying to arrange the fall of the father, and then being on the run, and then deciding whether or not they wanted to, go back to the academy or stay on the run. And if you can pick stay on the run, and it goes on to a whole thing about you being on the run, or you can pick go back to the academy, where you get 2 different endings to the route, essentially. And it wasn't one I'd probably place it, there's 5 routes, I'd probably place it around number 3. Then there's Amane's route. I thought that this was going to be one of my more enjoyed routes, because I kind of like the character, but they spend half the fucking route as her as a 14-year-old girl stuck in a forest. That's what I disliked about it, is because you didn't see Yuji, you just saw her, Yuji's sister, and their school friends trapped in a forest for like 2 weeks. And it gets pretty fucking dark, they start killing each other, cannibalism and all that shit. That's a little too dark for me. I wasn't a huge fan of it. And the other thing I didn't like is it's the same thing as Emi's route from Kadowa Shoujo. It's pretty much in the main section of it, when they're out of the flashback, it's pretty much just sex, a little bit of story, flashback, and then after the flashback, they decide to go to the forest to try to confront her fears. And this is what I disliked about the route the most. In the bad ending, they reveal the sister is still alive, and in the good ending, they say they don't really hint at it. They kind of say, oh, yep, she's got to be dead. Because in the bad ending, when she finds the box, they said, oh, yep, I'm still alive, Amane, here's this knife, go save whoever you need to save, for some reason, if you're reading this. And then in the good ending, they never find that box, they never get the closure of finding out whether or not the sister's alive or not, which kind of bugged me a little bit. But I guess we'll find out in the next novel whether or not she's still alive or not. Now we have Michiru. Oh yeah, I'd place hers as 5th, sadly. I did not like that at all. Now Michiru. I would place Michiru as probably my 2nd favorite route. It went a lot into the psychology of depression and all that, because it turns out that she's not really as stupid as it sounds. She overplays it to entertain people, which is why I didn't like the visual novels, because I feel or the spin-off novels involving her, because I felt it kind of just played up the fact that she was actually stupid, not the fact that she's just playing stupid like her route clearly says. And when I say it's normal, the most normal, it does by no means that means normal. I mean, I think he ends up burying her alive for a day just to make her realize that suicide is not a good option or something stupid like that. It's still one of my favorite routes, though. I like the development of her character. I like the whole split personality thing and how it ended with essentially both personalities having control over the body. I'm definitely looking forward to a continuation of it in the next novel. There's Makina's route. I thought her route was going to be my least favorite just because, you know, it's a dating sim and it's a kid, and I did not think the two would match. But turned out this is not a dating sim. I liked how it went with, you know, him training her to be an agent, you know, teaching her how to use guns and shit, and essentially going on the run as well, except they're on the run was more epic with, you know, setting up and trapping a house and all that stuff to keep the people out. I enjoyed it. I'd place it as number 3, probably. And let's say I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the continuation of it. The bad ending, though? That's the thing. They don't let you know you had the bad ending till a lot later. Like, the bad endings are not like typical bad endings where it's like, oh, yup, here's 5 minutes of text, oh, you're dead, boo. In this one, you still get a good 20 minutes of bad ending. That's why it's recommended you play through them, typically. I don't know, I'd recommend you play through it just to get the content to it. Her bad ending ends up with her being insane and Yuji dead. And I didn't realize I'd gotten the bad ending. I thought I'd picked the right ending, so her route was the one I played last. And I got the ending, and I'm sitting there just like, what? Dude, what? I was like, the only route in this visual novel that made me kind of, I shouldn't say freak out, but got that full kind of reaction out of me. And the good ending is similar, except he's actually there instead of her being insane and talking to his dead body. Then there's Sachi's route, which I would place as my favorite. I'm a sucker for the childhood friend trope. I'm a sucker for her, I gotta say. Now, but the thing is, I was able to call that she was the childhood friend for, like, pretty soon into the route. I think her route is one of the longest. I think it's up there. I don't think it's the longest, but it's still one of the longer ones. It goes into her childhood and how she lived in the same neighborhood as Yuji, and her parents died because of what she blamed was her fault because she decided to run away because her parents got super into work and all that. I felt like her route had the most character development. It went from an almost obsessive compulsive disorder, being the good person the entire time, of helping, doing whatever you're told to do, being a good girl, a little on the OCD end of that, except to the extreme of it, and in the end, it ended with her being an actual normal girl. And I like the progression of it. I feel the character developed quite well through the series. So now the next visual novel is a continuation on from this one. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I am most looking forward to the continuation of Sachi's and Michiru's. I'm definitely interested in the continuation of Amane's, because I want to see more about his sister. I'm interested in the continuation of all of these routes. I want to see, Makina being a trained agent. I want to see, Yumiko. Yumiko's route went on to them, like, being old and having kids, and I was kind of confused at how they could continue that in the next novel. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next novels. So thank you guys for watching. This has been my review of Fruited Grisia, the one that I've been in the process of making for months at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I didn't leave anything out. See you guys next time. The next visual novel review will probably be Kato Shoujo or Hyperdimension Neptune. I don't know. I haven't played that one yet, so I haven't decided if it's even worthy of review. And on that note, see you guys later. Have a good one.